welcome to another video that could be considered a reaction video, although we give these just enough context for them to be transformative. And also SkinSpotlights are fine with us doing this. Which brings me to one thing which keeps coming up. Every now and then, by a pure mistake or an oversight, Riot uses the footage of SkinSpotlights in their official content. The thing is that SkinSpotlights are not part of Riot Games. They don't work for them and they are not being paid by them, even though SkinSpotlights is the one channel where you go if you wanna learn about new skins. And I just wanted to bring this up because, again, by a mistake, Riot used their footage with their watermark on the ground in the official Volibear reveal. Anyway, that's just a fun fact. In my free time, I already went through the full voiceover of Volibear. But because I know that you guys like it when I explain what these new characters are talking about, just like we have covered Fiddlesticks interactions, today we will have a look at Volibear. Now, because Volibear's bio gave us more info on him, and we have not covered it on our channel yet, here's the super TLDR version of Volibear's bio. Very long time ago, Volibear and his brethren demigods shaped the lands, but we are not sure if they shaped everything or just Freljord. Either way, when humans started appearing on Runeterra, all the primal demigods worked with them. But over time, as humans got smarter and smarter, they started farming and building homes, which is not what Volibear taught them about. To Volibear, the strong species was the one that fought for survival, not the one that harvested turnips. And so first, because Volibear didn't agree with his brethren anymore, he got angry at ORNN, and he stopped using ORNN'S armor and weapons. And after that, Volibear decided that the only way to make Freljord great again was to wipe humanity. And that's why Volibear is very mad at people. Obviously, the story has a lot more details, because this was a very TLDR version, but this info will do for this video. So now, without further ado, let's have a look at Volibear's in-game interactions. Brought to you by SkinSpotlights.
ORNN'S, you once denied me your weapons. Now I no longer need them.
This one is a reference to something that happens in Volibear's bio. One of the reasons why Volibear gets mad at ORNN is that ORNN refuses to give Volibear and his Ursine, which are Volibear's closest followers, weapons and armor. And after that, to fit in with his followers, Volibear got rid of the armor ORNN crafted for him.
My sister, together we would harness a storm to consume the Freljord.
Of course, Anivia is also one of the primal demigods. So now we still know about Volibear, ORNN, Anivia, and as you'll see later, just like ORNN, Volibear is also talking about a fourth god. And of course, here you can see that Volibear wants to wipe out humanity.
Sister, how long can you endure the ice burning in your heart?
Now this one is interesting because I am not sure what this is referring to. The story always hinted that the snowstorms in Freljord come from Anivia. She is the one who brings ice and snow. But here Volibear makes it seem like there is a reason why Anivia is cycling through winters.
I knew Avarosa, Ashe, just as foolish as you.
Obviously Volibear knew Avarosa because he interacted with the three sisters when they ruled Freljord. After all, Volibear was the one who blinded Lissandra.
You have no power here, young witch.
And here it is interesting to see that Volibear doesn't have more interesting interactions with Lissandra. One would almost say that he would hate her a bit more.
You think you can be savage, Tryndamere?
Once again, more references to the fact that Volibear wants Freljordians to be more savage. But as you can see, even Tryndamere doesn't fit his vision. And that's because Tryndamere joined the Avarosans, which, as I mentioned before, are farmers.
Bristle! Why do you bow to this weak-willed WARMBLOOD?
But here you have Sejuani, the leader of the Winter's Claw, who is among the most savage tribes we know. And even she is not good enough. Although here it is interesting to see that Volibear doesn't have an interaction with Sejuani specifically. He is just talking to Bristle, which is the boar. Because if you don't remember, in Udyr's story, Sejuani was the one who led her people to the Ursine, where she wanted to negotiate with them. And that's where Sejuani saw the Volibear. So I was expecting something more juicy here. It is interesting to see that Volibear doesn't even reference that encounter. Almost as if it wasn't even him.
Rengar, I heard of your hunt, and I heard of your failure.
Here I wonder if this interaction could be canon. Interactions between champions in-game are usually not canon. They just show us what would happen if two champions met. So here it is interesting that Volibear heard about Rengar. If this turns out to be canon, I wonder where did he hear about Rengar? Rengar is from the Ishtal jungles bordering Shurima, while Volibear is up in Freljord. This makes me question the influence the Freljordian demigods have over Runeterra. This could mean that perhaps they didn't affect just Freljord. Maybe they know what's happening all over Runeterra.
Do you have something against bears, old man?
Of course, this is a reference to the old Volibear. If you don't know, there is a bit of a developer inside joke here. I believe a writer called Zillion hated bears and he didn't want Volibear to be in the game. And that's why when the two meet in game, they get a special debuff. Now, after the rework, Zillion gets extra AP and Volibear gets 1 point of resistance.
Play it rage, Warmblood. I will taste the fear quivering in your guts.
Now, if you listen to Volibear's voice, you can notice that he's calling humans warmbloods, which is his way of insulting them.
Your gods are cowards.
Now, as you can see, Volibear is also mentioning other gods. But this could be absolutely anything. This could be Targonians, this could be Nagakeboros, but the reason why Volibear calls them cowards is because we have never seen those gods in action. Perhaps Volibear and the primal gods are on equal level with all the other gods, but since those other gods never show up, to Volibear they are cowards.
ORNN'S blood on my claws. Surely there was a reason. Surely this is just.
Now this line is very interesting, because after he kills Ornn, he is doubting himself, and he's not sure if his rage was justified. Now here the sentence ends with "this is just," which could mean that he is questioning whether what he did was justified, or this is where the sentence cut off, and he meant to say something else after this. For example, surely this is just a dream, or you know, something like that. By the way he pronounces it, you can't really tell. But I wonder if the real Volibear is sleeping somewhere now. That would explain why he looks different depending on who calls upon him. Sometimes he looks like normal bear, and sometimes he is an abomination. What if this was just a dream, and Volibear was really sleeping somewhere? But whenever you see him, that's just his image, which someone summoned and gave it shape. But forget what I just said, I just wanted to mention this mad theory. There are also some interactions that really show off Volibear's mood.
I feast on your heart. Blood, the way of the land. Skulls, spines, always crunch. A god cannot die.
Aatrox wouldn't agree.
Bones crunch. Blood drips. This is the way of old Volibear.
And here I also need to mention that Freljord is just the name the people gave it. While humans call the entire northern part Freljord, Voriord is its ancient name. This is how the gods refer to it.
My land was named by a god. It cannot be renamed by a coward.
And right after that, Volibear mentions that his land was named by a god, and it cannot be renamed by people. So the original name was Voriord, but humans renamed it to Freljord. Here it is interesting that Volibear says that it was named by a god, but he doesn't mention who did it. It could be one of the primal gods, but there is the very tiny chance that what he means by this is that there is one god above these. That's the primal god who named the lands. But there is no evidence of this. So again, this is just my wild theory.
They call me Valhir, the Volibear. Great Storm. My true name is mine alone.
So, although people know that there is that one line where Volibear calls himself Valhir, and there is even a line about it in his bio, even Valhir is not Volibear's real name. Valhir, the Volibear and Great Storm are names that people gave him. Also, I have to give credit to the lore Discord, because there people found out that Vol is a swear word in Freljord. So Volibear could mean damned bear. That would certainly match what people see in Freljord these days. But the point of this is that we still don't know Volibear's real name.
Thunder roars, wind howls. Only fools ignore the call to battle.
Now, most people just ignore this line, but I think there is actually a clever meaning in this. I think here he's talking about the primal gods. Thunder roars, that would be Volibear. Wind Howls, that would be Anivia. And then he was supposed to talk about ORNN, but as you can see by the rest of the line, he got so annoyed he didn't even finish his thought.
I am Valhir of the First Thunder, destroyer of the White Mountain, carver of the 5 fjords.
And this is the line I was talking about. Yes, he does say he is Valhir, but that only makes sense within the context of the rest of this line. He says that he's of the First Thunder, destroyer of the White Mountain, and carver of the 5 fjords. So in this line, just to sound dominant, Volibear is using the titles humans gave him.
Many have called to me. Avarosans, Frostguard, Winter's Claw. They call no longer.
This is probably Volibear just remembering the old days, when people worshipped the gods no matter what, and they were a lot more savage. But as Freljord got a bit calmer, and people started farming, suddenly these 3 tribes didn't need the help of Volibear anymore.
In my dreams, I see bones frozen in ice. I wonder if they are my own.
And this is a very interesting line. Remember how I said that perhaps what Volibear thinks is real is just a dream? Maybe there is something to it after all. But to be honest, I have no idea what he's talking about here. Some people speculate that this is a simple reference to Nordic mythology, because there, dreams and trying to avoid grim future is the main theme. That's what Ragnarok is all about after all.
When my brother gave them fire, they forgot the fire of their own blood.
And this is one of the reasons why Volibear blames ORNN for what is happening in Freljord. ORNN gave people comfort, and after that things just snowballed.
My sisters are gods of ice and salt and Everwinter. And ORNN, a liar.
Now, remember what I was talking about at the beginning of the video? Where I mentioned that the 4 gods we know about are still there? Well, Volibear makes it seem like perhaps there are 5 or even more. We know that ice refers to Anivia. Salt is the Seal Sister. That's the oceanic god that even ORNN was talking about. But he also says Everwinter, and that's new. Now, because the legends say that Anivia brings winter on her wings, it is possible that Everwinter, together with Ice, are both Anivia, and Salt is the Seal Sister. And then there is ORNN, which would be 4 primal gods. But I believe they specifically separated Ice and Everwinter and Salt, so that now it looks like 3 components, for 3 different primal gods. So not only did we not learn about the Seal Sister, we now have a theory of another god on top of that. But now let's end the video with this last line.
I am a god. I cannot die. But do I live if I am not in the hearts of warriors?
Volibear often mentions that gods cannot die, but he also hints at the fact that they rely on people believing in them. And in fact, if they are not remembered, it is as if they were dead. So it almost feels like the gods on their own don't have any power. They need followers to be strong. Now, interestingly enough, in Jenna's story, it was revealed that spirits work in a similar way. Jenna used to be the spirit of wind that sailors called upon. To calm down the seas, the pirates of Bilgewater would often pray to Jenna. But as people figured out the right routes, and they knew how to avoid storms, suddenly nobody really needed Jenna. And so, since nobody was calling upon her powers, Jenna weakened over time. But after that, things happened in Zone, and suddenly people in Zone were praying to Jenna to give them some fresh air. And that's how she got strong again. I wonder if these primal gods behave the same way. I wonder if they are only strong when people call upon them. Perhaps that is the reason why Volibear sometimes looks different. Again, when the Ursine call upon him, he looks like whatever that is. But when other people call upon him, he looks like a normal bear. Maybe Volibear on his own is just a natural force, but without people needing his aid. Maybe that's how Volibear truly dies. But that's going to be it for this video. We will definitely cover Volibear's bio later, because when he gets released there will probably be some extra stories. So I just want to cover everything in one video. But overall, in this video, not much was revealed. We don't know Volibear's real name, and we still don't know what he even is. But we learned some cool facts about Freljord, and that maybe the primal gods have influence over the entire Runeterra. But regardless, since there is true ice in Volibear's back, There is the theory that true ice is just Volibear's blood, which, if this gets confirmed, I don't wanna know what this means for this guy. Hey, did you know that we have social media and Twitch where we talk about other League facts and stories? And did you know that we have need mugs and shirts too? The links to all of that will be below. And as always, thank you, come again.